welcome to episode 4 of the cast. We are here today with Trading for Souls. Welcome, boys.
Right.
You all good? Good. Thanks for coming in today. So we're going to be doing having a little chat with the boys, and at the end get a chance to hear what they do. So Trading for Souls, where did the name come from?
A long list.
It was email, and it was just the best one on the list, really. And you weren't keen, were you? And so I just went and found 3 that I knew he'd hate. It's just like, oh, it's going to be that one then. No, Trading for Souls isn't quite so bad, actually.
So it's quite a meticulous sort of process then, it wasn't just
It's pretty hard to find one that isn't taken these days, because with the internet and everything, straight away you're like, oh, that's great, Google it. And of course, if you can't get the handle for Instagram and all that sort of stuff, like, then it's kind of pointless anyway, because no one wants to be Trading for Souls 3.
Well, yeah, Trading for Souls 0694. Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
so what would you describe yourself as genre-wise?
Rock.
It's hard rock, isn't it? There's bluesy elements. There's other bits and pieces, but we're pretty loud and pretty heavy.
Yeah, because I haven't heard you. I know you've done shows here at the Foundry, and like obviously other people won't know, but like the quite riff-driven, a lot of it in it with the guitar stuff and some lovely tones and stuff in it. Yeah. So how long have you been together?
Well, 3 of us have been playing for quite a few years, haven't we? It's probably good.
At least, then when we got Dan, we started doing it more seriously. Then sort of when we got the singer, it's probably about 2 years. So
who's the newest? You said 3.
Me.
Yeah. Okay.
The oldest and the newest.
How long have you been with the band?
It was
nearly 2 years.
It's about 2 years.
Yeah, nearly 2 years.
Sort of proper. It was these guys, like I say, they played a lot over the years, and then they were sort of in a situation of sort of jamming and working things up. And Ben and I worked together, and he spotted that I'd done a few sort of bedroom busk videos on YouTube, and he sort of said, "Oh, you sing? You should come and sort of hang out with the band, and we'll just do some stuff." So
awesome.
That's what we started doing, and then we started writing stuff somehow. It was just sort of like just doing bits of covers, really. We just started writing.
But I think like that's important in terms of as any sort of group come together. I think if it comes together organically like that, rather than like putting a poster saying we need a singer, and then you get like all sorts of all sorts of like people that don't obviously.
Sometimes you need people, like to say we're looking for obviously a drummer. Because Ben's had to obviously step in on drums because he was our guitarist first. But, so sometimes you kind of need to, but it's But for the majority, like me and Ben have played, like we went grown up together, so we played, guitars and
Been in covers bands before. Back when we were kids. But but because we'd been jamming that's all it was. It was just Wednesday, just get away from the kids, really, wasn't it? And the other half or whatever. It was an excuse. It was like Wednesday night, I'm out. And so we just sort of like had that couple of years worth of jams anyway, didn't we? Before Dan came in, and then it was just sort of like we just kind of went through them then, really. And
awesome.
Stuff out.
So in terms of like I suppose it's a natural question really, is like in terms of the cover band versus the writing side of things, then was that like something you were always going to do, or we
always wanted to do originals as opposed to do some covers. Like we just did the covers really just so we had something quick that we could play together to get used to playing.
So did you transition into original like gigs, or did you do like a few covers when you started doing gigs together? Did you start doing like a few covers in your set as well, or was it always just
there's only a couple of covers just when we first got in, just the
first couple of practices.
There was a couple of the songs that Dan had put up on YouTube, so I thought, well, he knows them, we can learn them quick, and we can just something so that we could have fun, rather than, because it would be a bit of pressure to just sort of come in and just start singing over something you've never heard before. But no, as far as gigs, we've never played a cover live, really. And like we were in a covers band, but that was years ago. That wasn't when we got together this time. We're not going to do that, because
that's awesome. Like, cause I suppose it's like that fine balance. Like as a venue, I know we try to strike the balance perfectly. We're all about the original music. We try and support the original music scene as much as we can. And I find that some people will come and they'll do the original set and they'll sort of try and keep attention of the audience by putting a cover or two in. Because it's like it is, especially if like we find solo acts. Like if it's just you and a guitar, like it's incredibly difficult to keep attention and all. So yes, the fact that you've gone straight in with the original, that's really impressive.
To be honest, we're sticking a couple of covers in.
Yeah.
We've got to the point where, like, because we just keep getting offered 90-minute sets whenever we're sort of doing it, and we're lucky enough that we've written enough songs that we can film 90 minutes, but at the same time, we kind of think 90 minutes is probably quite a long time for the audience to sit there and listen to music they've never heard before.
Yeah.
You know, it's just to sort of keep them interested, something to compare to. We're thinking that it's for those sorts of sets we should have one or two just to split it up. But obviously when we're just doing the half hour, 45 minutes, then we'll go in with.
And you're keeping that sort of like within genre then, or you putting your interest on covers of other stuff?
This would be in our sort of style, I guess. We've only just sort of started thinking about doing it and adding some in, so. Cool. It's still quite new.
That's funny.
So working on it.
It's hard to pick one that isn't done 14 times, you know.
That's the other thing.
Because I think we played Bikers in Bilth the other week, and there was 3 bands on, and the first and last band had similar, but they had the same songs. There were a couple of crossover songs, and that's going to happen because you know it's the beauty is when you're doing covers, you get to pick everyone's best song.
Yeah.
So there is no filler. But yeah, so that we're trying to sort of not be too out there, but at the same time something
obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, your style Wonderwall might be cool. You know?
Wonderwall.
Yeah, Jason won't go for that.
I was dead against doing any covers. Like, so we've done the covers thing before, and like I just find for the local music scene again, it's like you're playing these songs, and like we talked about before, like, you know, you play covers, and that's what they want in pubs and things like that. But you're not really attracting your own crowd, your own fans, or anything like that. So it's like playing your original stuff feels like you're doing something, like, you know, and
glorified jukebox. Pub gigs and stuff, and it's really unfortunate that
it's not the end
not
of
to
the
put
world.
covers
No,
bands
not
down.
at all.
Like, I
It's
mean, you know, we had fun doing it, but there was a time, you know, at the end of it was just sort of like, but they were cheering on
somebody else's song.
Black Sabbath there, weren't they? Do you know what I mean?
It.
It was so there was that sort of unfulfilled.
Unfulfillment.
So
you're all in Mid Wales. You're all sort of built for you.
We're all built.
Okay.
Yeah, all real close.
And did you find this gigs wise? Did you get much work in Mid Wales? Or are you travelling for it?
It's not been too bad in the summer. Like we've been gigging pretty much every month, but it's all been pretty local. Like haven't had to go too far. Only about half hour away, maybe. At most.
It's good to have that like local support for the original music, and you know, obviously we do it. I mean, but a lot of places like to give people sort of what they know type thing. So the fact that you can do that in Mid Wales is really good. I mean, Lodge and I did episode 1, and we had a chat sort of like about Mid Wales in general, you know, and like how opportunities wise, you know, what is here and what is there a scene? Was there a scene? Has it disappeared? Type thing, you know. And in your experience, do you find that it's better now than it has been? Or?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, like. When I was young, certainly there were loads of original bands coming around. They do covers as well, but there were loads of them. And then we had a good decade or so where there was just nothing. You know, you'd literally go out every single weekend and there'd just be covers bands. But now, there's probably 5 or 6 bands that are Bilf based.
That's just really good, like proper originals.
So it's coming back, like, which is nice.
Like you say, though, a big part of it is the venues. You have to have the venues that are willing to do it, and like you've got yourselves. I mean, I guess the Mid Wales Rhythm and Blues Club that put on bands, bring in bands from outside as well, but the Lost Ark in Raider, they are supporting putting on original bands, so you have to have that outlet. If it's just pubs, they're less likely to want originals. I mean, the Fountain have been good with us. They've had us there a few times. They know what we do, and they have had us there. So you need that, as well as having the bands there. You do have to have places that and I think that's improving. That's what's improved.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I've spoken about this before as well. As like the rate at which venues are closing and stuff. You know, it's sort of scary in that sense. But I mean, locally, if that's happening where there's more and more places to play, then that's definitely positive, isn't it?
So like growing up like in Bilf and stuff is for getting younger people as well involved in music, and like how, like, say they come out and see bands. Like when I was younger in Bilf, like I think it was they used to do live Fridays. I think Dan Graham used to do them from the Deadly. And they every Friday, obviously bands come in and stuff, and then that was good. Then you go along and you'd be like, oh, that's really cool. Like I want to do that. You know? So it's
Yeah, I used to see it all the time, you know, sort of like the post online is like, if you want to have this, and they love like a picture of a huge band, and like you've got to have this, and like it does all start at the grassroots, you know. I think I read something recently.
Kids and
yeah.
As well.
I read something recently where it was like Coldplay had done a tour in the like late 90s, and they played a string of grassroots music venues, which there was like 50 or 60 of them, and like 4 of them remain, or something ridiculous like that. It was like shit, you know. Yeah. So so I know it's a tricky time for music industry in general.
I think it's a tricky time for rock.
You
know, it's I don't think that there's. I mean, I can't talk for the whole of the UK. I can only talk for our local scene, and I don't think that rock is what too many of them want. Really, they want the DJ, they want the classics, they want the 80s sorts of classics.
I think if you look at like chart music now, I think vast majority of it is sampled 40-year-old music. I think there was something like 8 in the top 10 recently, which were like, you know, samples of like 40, 50-year-old songs, and you know, obviously coming back and...
You know, you're getting old when you start hearing those. I remember this.
Well, even for the covers bands now as well, because the charts is so heavily dominated that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see a lot of the covers bands that are out there, the songs that they're playing are 10 or 15 years old. They don't feel like 10 or 15-year-old songs classic, but that was like the last hurrah of live band music. So things like Kings of Leon and stuff like that, which are great songs and great to do, but you sort of struggle to sort of see where those songs for covers bands even are coming from.
You know, I mean, there's only Ed Sheeran left.
I do wonder if that's just because it's the easiest way to avoid a lawsuit. It's just sample somebody else's song properly. Because I mean, you know,
they give them the credit.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in terms of recordings wise, then where are you at with regards to like your discography so far? Like, what have you recorded and what are you?
We did a lot of like loose recordings in the kitchen. You know, when we were practicing, mainly so that we could, because you know, we couldn't just go on Spotify and listen to our songs. So if we wanted to practice at home, we had to have something to sort of go on. And a couple of them weren't that bad really. So we did put a couple of them up because you know, they're not polished, but they were okay. But we've only been to the studio for one song. We've had one song. I mean, we did go to the studio and we recorded quite a lot with another drummer, but then then we lost the drummer, so we didn't use any of that really. So we have been back to Monkey Studios up in Pembrokeshire, Carmarthenshire.
It's 25 minutes from
by St Clair somewhere in the middle of nowhere, beautiful place.
It's lovely. It's lovely. And so we got the one song recorded there, and it's been mixed and mastered, and we're hoping to get a release on that soon. Not a date yet, but
need to figure out a video for it so we can.
But obviously, like in terms of if you've got a 90-minute spot or just shy of 90 minutes, you've obviously got quite a few songs though.
We have quite a lot. We play them and then sort of like move on with that's a new good one, and it's a new good one, and then the older ones sort of stop playing them as much. But that's
so there isn't like you wouldn't sort of package them as like a album 1, album 2 type thing. You just sort of.
Well, they probably are. I feel there's definitely, as we progress through the songwriting, you can hear the difference if you listen to the first one to what we write now. There is very much a difference.
We've gone through eras of style already. It's sort of you know, it depends what I'm listening to at the time really. But we've definitely got full sort of albums that we could do if we had to in certain styles. As we've sort of progressed, but like I said to her, you know, we just haven't tried to gig, have we? Really? I mean, that's the thing. I know it's like it's the main thing, but because we've just plenty of false starts with changes in lineup. Which as Jace addressed a minute ago, we've gone through a couple of drummers, and in the end it just got to the point where it was just like we just have to keep starting. So I went out and bought a drum kit. And then Dan had to pick up a guitar, and I had to jump on drums, and that's been. We just thought we'd just find one on the way. We're putting a plea out today. You know, comes later on and get in touch. But, so that's the that's been the biggest hold up really. I think we'd.
That's really cool though. The fact that you've sort of like identified as the problem, and you like just fill that gap.
Just had to. I mean, we don't live in a city where you can just go and join my band and just. I mean, most people that we have spoke to, they're all so up for it, and then they see where we live, and then they're just like, oh, we've got to do that every week. And they back out quite quickly then. So yeah, you just have to do it, and like if we were to have a job, they probably have 3 or 4 projects because that's what drummers seem to have, isn't it? Of course, you want to be priority one. You don't want to have to turn down gigs because they've got another gig.
Do you think there's any sort of like longevity in you doing drums?
I do it as long as I have to, or as long as my arms hold out, because I've got no technique. So
you'll do it until Ollie Harding agrees.
Coming back, boys.
You know he wants to, really.
Yeah, but we can't afford it.
Well, so just keep going the way you're going at the moment.
Just keep going until I don't have to.
So the original, it's always been 5 of you up to this point.
There was 6 of us, I think, at one point, wasn't it? At our peak, we had
keyboard,
keyboard synth, and then like I say, and another drummer. So I was on guitar, but we didn't have an extra guitar because Dan was
at that point.
And then we lost drummer, lost keys, and now we're just a 4-piece.
Cool. So going forward, new drummer.
Yeah.
New single.
Yeah.
Anything else we're working towards in the future?
Well, hopefully that video to go with it as well.
Music video to go with the single. That's cool. How do you sort of feel about the singles versus albums now? If you were to sort of go down the recording route now, you're going to step in the studio a bit more frequently.
If someone's paying for it, we'll do an album.
That's the issue. Using gig money to pay for recording, and because there's not a lot of gigs, we can essentially afford a day, a gig, pretty much, if it's a reasonable gig. So.
I mean, the price of that was it 600 quid, 2 days in the studio, £160 then for the mix, and then like if you want to pay for the master, it could be that again. And then that's per track. So
that's it. A grand a track.
10 grand there, right? Which is
albums.
I don't know. People can do it in their kitchen and things like that, but
it's one of those. I mean, we have had people at gigs sort of say, "Have you got a CD?" And it would be lovely to have that physical product, because they're, especially like the rock sort of thing that we're looking at, like the biker festivals and that, they are much more inclined to buy a CD than they are to go and get a download. So it would be lovely to have that. It would really be
something tangible, isn't it? Something sort of to actually physically take away from the gig with you.
But it's just the process of getting there financially and everything else, really.
Yeah, I mean, we had a band on the weekend, and he had a box of tapes.
Right.
It was just a box of cassettes, and I was like,
I wouldn't even have any.
I wouldn't know, but it's really cool. I'll have one. It's
you can sit on the side. Watch Dark.
Have you got? I think I know you have, because I was still at the gigs. You've got merch to sell at the shows and stuff, though,
No,
we could lock them up. Like if people want a T-shirt, we can
get
them locked up. Actually.
But we haven't yet.
We've not got a stock, as it were, of it. It's stuff that we've sort of put together ourselves to sort of see how that would look, really.
Because I love the logo. Like I've seen them on T-shirts. It looks really cool.
We've got Ben's wife to thank for that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
She put that together for us.
Nice. Very good. So in terms of like merch and stuff, I suppose it can make a big difference to the gig, really, can't it? If you go like 15-20 quid a t-shirt and stuff. And
again, it's a big part of it. I mean, a friend of mine who sort of plays, he goes out and he does a lot of support slots for sort of quite big acts, but he sort of said, your money's in the merch. He's always got a really good merch offering. Even compared to headliners, sometimes they got a couple of t-shirts, he's got 8 different t-shirt designs, he's got CDs, he's got rings, he's got guitar string bracelets, all sorts of stuff. And he sort of says, on a good night, you'll make more than you're getting paid.
I think that's the same story for the big bands out there as well. They're not making money off singles anymore, are they?
No, it's ticket sales and merch.
Yeah, it was streaming. So it's just an episode in itself, and I suppose you're talking about the money they cost you to go into the studio. It's like, well, then where does it live? And how do you recoup that money?
Exactly.
It's like, because it's certainly coming from Spotify.
I
think 0.06 or whatever it is pence per play. And so an interview with Snoop Dogg recently, and he was like comparing it to the 90s. He was like, if I sold X amount of million CDs, and that would translate into X amount of million.
$1 off of each one of those, $10 million, but. Is it 1,000 streams is the equivalent of one physical sale?
Is it?
Pretty much, yeah. So if you think you make £1 out of your CD,
yeah.
You've got it's a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, well, I know that I know the attention is there online and stuff, and people do spend a lot more time listening in that sort of way, but like it doesn't translate to the artist and the producer.
No.
Well, and it's still heavily weighted to those that are already successful.
Yeah.
So your Taylor Swifts and all that, they get millions of streams because they're already big. As an emerging act, a sort of starting out act, you can put your stuff out there, but trying to get it onto playlists, trying to get it into people so it can get plays is a different kettle of fish. Another guy I knew, he had some stuff on Spotify, and I remember him posting a thing on Facebook and said, here's my check from Spotify for my 10,500 whatever plays, and I mean it was like tens of pounds. He was like, is it really worth it?
Wow.
Sort of thing. He'd had these thousands of plays, but it just wasn't equating to any sort of financial comeback.
I suppose it goes back to what we were talking about, like a music scene, like music venues supporting original music, and that sort of thing. It's like, I suppose in order for it to all be worthwhile, it needs to be the same across, on streaming platforms. Everywhere needs to sort of make it worthwhile for music, because you're certainly not getting an hourly wage. You're not even getting a minimum wage if that's the case, and you want to put all that time and effort into writing and stuff. And I suppose it's down to the consumer then to recognise the worth of it,
and just getting into those venues as well. That's the benefit of having some kind of product, because again, they're not walking into the pub in Bilf to hear you play. It's you've got to sort of put yourself out there. They've got to be able to hear you to give you the chance, really.
Yeah, it's just like the part. Well, that's the reason we're doing this podcast. Really, is like as a venue, we get a lot of emails. We get a lot of people sort of like, can we come and play, or any sports slots, all sort of stuff, and. The amount of phone footage is good. Cameras are good on phones, I'm not saying, but in terms of actual promo material, it's not promoting you in a good way a lot of the time. It's really not. And again, you listen to 30 seconds of something you don't like, and it's like, well, there's no chance. So for us to be able to do a free clip at the end for bands to come in and have a little chat, and just to do a video and stuff at the end of a couple of tracks, it's like, well, at least we're doing our bit to try and help the promotion side of things,
That's it. I think today, you have to have that, with all social media and stuff, you've got to have that glossy package to send out people, a nice video or properly recorded and all that sort of stuff to send out, because chances are you're only going to get, like you said, a couple of seconds of a listen, and so they're tidy enough to have a listen a bit more, or nah, it's not happening, sort of thing.
And it's difficult, to somebody sends you something, and you might like their stuff on Spotify, or you might like their glossy video and stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean it translates to a brilliant live performance.
No.
So there is that sort of thing about it as well. But I suppose you write and you record and you put it out there. I suppose it's for the consumer to go, like that. Or,
that's it. Yeah,
that's the hardest part of it, really. But cool. So I think you guys are going to play now. Mm-hmm. Got 3 tracks.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Are they a bit new or old, or where are they from?
One's quite new. Maybe they're all new. You haven't heard any of them.
One's quite an early one that we've written, but always seems to be popular when we have played it. There's a newer one, and this one that's in the middle, really. I suppose.
Awesome stuff. Cool. That's enough talking. Let's have a listen, shall we?
Cool. Sounds
Cheers,
good.
boys. Awesome.
Thank you.
You wait and see, you won't forget my name.